Our priority has always been home, then work, then public. But Jennifer's exactly right. Public's really important for outreach and education and just awareness. So I could use a lot of that for those purposes. But home was the one we really had to nail last year, and I'm going to show you data in a second. We did a really good job last year on charging. Let me show you some data. So right now on 120 and 240 on the Volt program, 60% of the retail Volt customers right now are purchasing a 240 volt charger. We were at about 50% when we started the first few months of sales. Now it's up to about 60%. I don't know. It's a number that probably will move around some more. But I think just a good rule of thumb is that on an EREV like the Volt with the extended range on it, I think that 50-50 is probably a good bet. That 50% of the folks are just going to charge at 120 most of the time and get by just fine. I love 120. That's what I do in my garage every night. But the other half are looking for the 240. They want the faster solution. There are a lot of grants out there. I know they're not easy for everybody to find, but there are grants out there that help an awful lot of folks. And so that might be swaying this number a little bit up on the 240, but still, it's there. About half of our customers that are choosing the 240 volt faster charger that gets mounted on your wall, the EVSE, half of them choose the GM design unit that Lear produces because it's the lowest cost unit. It's about $490. But a bunch of them are picking the SPX unit. The thing that's good about that is it has extra features, including a plug-in ability where you just buy it. It's got the 240 volt plug on the end of it, and you can just plug it into a regular NEMA socket on the wall if you have 240 volt circuit in your garage. So a lot of folks like that one too, real nice. They've got some bollard solutions, a pedestal solution that's real nice at SPX. And then of course, Coulomb, thank you, Hilda. Coulomb's got a large portion of the sales too, largely in the DOE program areas where the zip codes apply, and they do apply. The Coulomb grant program is applicable here in Orlando and over in Tampa as well. I'm not so sure about Miami. I'm not sure that it extends that far, but certainly all over the Orlando and the Tampa area, the Coulomb applies. So that's a really good unit to get your hands on too. And then Ecotality, we just launched really the Ecotality program quite late. Again, similarly, it's a DOE program. It is not available here in the, at least the incentives are not available here in the Florida area, but of course you can purchase any kind of hardware you want to charge these vehicles. We have an industry standard for all of the level 1 and 2 charging. So that tells you that 40% or 50% of Volt customers are using 120 volt regularly every night to charge their vehicle. So that's good to know too. It was designed to be as invisible and easy and customer friendly as possible. Over the last year, I'm gonna try to speed this up. I know I gotta get out of here pretty soon. Over the last year, we did a lot of stuff to fix and watch and improve infrastructure. It's very tough to do. Every home is different. There are a lot of challenges with doing EVSEs in the home. So for those that do get the 240 volt upgrades, we had to make sure we had a network. I mean, look at the rise in electricians we had through SPX, who's our partner on home installs. Going from something like 100 electricians in the beginning of the year to almost 800 electrical contractors by the end of the year. So these are the kinds of things that were happening last year. There's an awful lot happening on the supply side of stuff. If we look at data, this is a cycle time of how long it takes us to get installations done. Look at where we started in January, just sort of starting to get our feet wet. How long is it taking to do the quote? How long does it take to do the actual install and get an electrician to the house? How long does it take to get the inspector to the house to approve the installation? And you see where we started. The purple line is the total sum of all three parts of that phase. And look at what happened over the course of the year. We're down to something now that looks more like 7 days, full cycle time. So again, a lot of dramatic improvement in exactly the things you want in place before you go full ramp up to full volume. So I think that's stunning improvement. Here's the detail on the inspection cycle. This is sort of the permitting process, the inspection cycle when he comes in afterwards. Your unit's operational, so you can use your unit at home once on the day it's installed. But when we wanted to watch carefully that inspection, I do want to have inspected hardware in your homes to make sure that everything's been done, I's dotted, T's crossed. So you can see here also how just the very stunning improvement and reduction in the time it takes. In January, we weren't watching it as closely as other things. Of course, we had a mountain of things to do, but 62 days on average. Now we're down at 3 days on average to get that permitter back in the house. So we're just stunning improvements last year. So when people ask you what happened last year, a lot happened last year to get this stuff right. Here's permitting fees by state. Here's permitting fees range anywhere from here on this slide. It shows $14 in Portland is the fee to get a 240 volt permit. $624 is your fee in Malibu to get the same permit to do the same job. So this is one of those surprises that shows up on folks' bills when they get the 240. So there's a reason why a lot of folks are happy with the 120 volt charging, especially on the Volt. But the average across the country is about $174. So just so you understand how that works. There are a couple locations in the country where there actually are not even any permitting fees, but those are far and few. Lots of folks helping to make EVs happen. Lots of outreach that we do ourselves with our dealers. First responder training with the National Fire Protection Agency. We've launched with them in the DOE grant. Large national program on safety training for electric vehicles, plug-in electric vehicles. We've talked a lot. I'm gonna have to pass back to Terry Johnson and Brian went over at EDTA how well you guys talked about this site. This is a very collaborative industry website. It's called Go Electric Drive. It's been mentioned at least 3 times this morning already. EDTA helped us put it together, but we helped launch it. Utilities, automakers got together and said we need a place where everyone can have a common dialogue, not just saying facts here and facts there and no one can figure out what the straight answer is. This website we work on almost every day, trying to feed in better information, better links, better connections, better answers to questions that people are asking. So it's an important website. It'll keep getting better over time. We're never happy. We gotta just keep making it better and better. We also have an outreach program nationally for electrical contractor training so that the electricians are more informed, they know what they're talking about, they can do as much of a sales job as the rest of us can about selling these vehicles and the technology. Lots of people on board this program nationally too. I'm gonna just whip through this stuff. NREL's got a website on where you find charges. I know all the Coulomb data's in there, regularly updated into the NREL data site for charge stations. If you go onto this NREL website, the link is on here somewhere at the bottom, afdc.energy.gov. You can find locations of all chargers near you. I'm happy to send this stuff to you if you send me an email. And what you can do, you know all this stuff. Here are the incentives by state. You can see some of these state incentives that are out there. I've only picked out the ones that are applicable to the Volt, in addition to any pure BEV, of course. Illinois, a $4,000 state income tax. Colorado, $6,000. Pennsylvania, $3,500. There's the West Virginia one at $7,500 that just got passed. There are about 3 or 4 other states that are currently actively working on another vehicle incentive. These are important. It's just, you know, a lot of people just really desperately want to do this, and money becomes the barrier. We don't want it to be the barrier. Let's try to get past this, and then it'll stand on its own in a couple of years. I've already talked about that. What can you do? Everything possible. Don't leave a stone unturned. Collaborate. Get with these groups. Everyone in this audience is a real expert. Ask questions. Tell us what we can do for you to help us. Thanks a million.